Tuesday in Tampa, the Caps threw themselves headfirst into their work. First on the to-do list, a much-needed goal from a support center. Check. Next, drive the hottest goalie in the league for cover. Check. And last but not least, get superstar goaltending for themselves. Check, check. Tonight, Dallas star power brightens DC, with Mike Modano lighting the way. A beacon that guides teammate Jeff Halpern back home on Comcast Sportsnet.
Hey, Washington sports fans, what do you know? It's Dallas week again on ice. As Comcast Sportsnet presents the NHL, tonight one of the best from the West, the Stars, align with the Caps for the start of a 4-game homestand. A very pleasant welcome to you. Along with Craig Laughlin, I'm Joe Beninati. It's difficult to imagine where the Caps would fall without Ole Kolzig. For all the hoopla around the marvelous talent of Alex Ovechkin, it's Kolzig who reinforces every little thing, and he proved it again in Tampa.
Well, earlier on in Tampa, Joe, that didn't look good for the Washington Capitals. The ice was tilted in Ole's direction. He had 9 saves in the first 10 minutes. Tampa Bay was swarming around the Caps' cage. 23 saves in the third period. The Caps were outshot 25-5. Ole held down to 4-48 save Gem for win number 2. 6-1.
The more work he faces, the better he gets.
Yeah, absolutely. 48 saves, the most ever for Ole in a win. Second most ever saves in a game. He had 52 versus the Wings. He's 4-0-1 with 40-plus saves.
And earlier this evening, Coach Dave Pryor was asked if a goalie prefers to be busy at the start.
I think one thing a goaltender feels is when he has a consistent workload through a game, it often allows you to keep the edge on your game. You don't want to say fall asleep, but you're not getting cold or have a chance for your mind to wander. You're forced to stay in the game.
So many different pieces of the puzzle came together against the Lightning, beginning with a diversified scoring attack.
Yeah, 5 different guys scored for the Washington Capitals. We were talking all game, Joe, about the importance of second wave scoring. Well, it happened. Chris Beach, a give and go with Petty. Pretty. Oh, yeah, indeed. His last goal 11 games ago. Boyd Gordon, picture perfect shorty, and he broke a little bit of a drought to the roof. I love that shot to beat their netminder. Alexander Semin returned to the lineup. He was terrific. The way he moved the puck. Watch the little fake pass that he made to look like a miss, but he actually put it short side top shelf. He had gone through 12 games without a goal. And then Chris Clark. I love the pluggers that get on the ice. He got a nice little toe kick that went right to his stick. He put her home.
And of course, Ovechkin managed to grab some of the glory for himself.
Well, OV, 1+1, the only constant offensively for the Caps recently. 2 more points than he had on the pace last year. Goals in 3 straight. What a November for Ovechkin. He has been simply terrific.
With Dallas in town tonight, your thoughts just naturally go to the defensive side of the game. And a past disciple of the Dallas D has been a fixture for the Caps.
Yeah, John Erskine, Joe, has been terrific. This big drink of water has been solid since the day he arrived. In his first game against Carolina, he was strutting his stuff, defensive breakups, big hits, kabonging in front of the net. He's been smart and aggressive. Eminger and Erskine have come out of the fray being very dependable for Glenn Hanlon. He's been terrific.
It was tough for him to crack the lineup in Dallas.
Yeah, it certainly was. Remember, he was drafted by the Stars in the first round after he was the OHL's Defenseman of the Year in '99. He certainly possesses the size, but he's fit in nicely, I think, because of the system the Caps play.
The Stars aren't going to rattle very many cages with respect to the offensive side of the game, but Mike Modano is more than worthy of a mention for his genius.
Wow, what a career he's had. This is a guy that recently played his 1200th game, recorded his 1200th point. Only Joe Mullen has scored more goals in his career as a U.S.-born NHLer.
Defense is the name of the game in Big D.
Man, are they ever stingy. First in goals allowed, GAA first shots. They don't allow a lot. PK top 4. Save percentage 7th best.
And apparently they've got 2 good ones in goal.
And Turco struggling a little bit. He's lost 3 straight and won only 2 of his last 8. Mike Smith gets a nod. Couple of years, 4 in the AHL. He stepped forward, pitched a shutout in his first NHL game.
And away we go. That number 11 is a familiar one, even if it's on an unfamiliar jersey. Jeff Halpern, the man who turned the Cap C over to CC. Chris Clark motors back into action. Next.
And let there be light inside of Verizon Center on Comcast Sportsnet. Joe Beninati, Craig Lachlan, Al Koken with you tonight. It's the Washington Capitals and the Dallas Stars to kick off a 4-game homestand. And Craig sets up the netminders matchup.
One vintage guy in Ole Kolzig gets the nod. 7-3, 7-6 and 3, 3.0, 918. He's looking for his first win. It's the only team he hasn't beaten his career is the Dallas Stars. Mike Smith, the youngster, just his 7th game in the National Hockey League. He gets the call by Dave Tippett. He's 5-1-0.
That's a pretty nice start to your NHL career. The on-ice officials are Kevin Pollock and Eric Furlat. The linesmen are Tony Sericolo and Mark Shuchik. Washington here at home wearing the dark black with the bronze and white trim. The Dallas Stars coming in their traveling whites. They were busy in those sweaters. Hopefully they got them laundered overnight as they came in from the Windy City, falling short to the Chicago Blackhawks last night.
2-1. Savvy Savard gets his first win behind the bench. 2-1, a nail-biter.
He's 1-0. It's time to step down. As you're watching the line combinations for the Washington Capitals as well as the defense pairings, the Caps will be without Dinas Zubris tonight, Craig, as Dinas has taken ill.
Yeah, not feeling very well. Didn't even take the warm-up for tonight's game.
Right away, an early chance for Kolzig. He had to shuffle over there and in the nick of time keep Patrick Stefan away.
Stefan, nice little backhand, a shovel backhand, trying to go 5-hole. Stefan, it was a healthy scratch for 7 or 8 games this season early on, trying to find his way coming over from Atlanta, but now he's sort of in a checking role and playing much better under Dave Tippett. He gets the early first chance along with Jeff Halpern, his line mate.
We've been teaming up with Jeff Halpern of late. Nicholas Hagelman's been joining him on that line. Right now it's Modano and Eriksson and Lettinen for head coach Dave Tippett. Washington hemmed in its defensive territory until Semin swivels this one right on the mark for Pettinger. The long wrister off the glass. Semin fires the rebound right to the waiting Smith, and he'll hold it long enough for the whistle.
Yeah, good shot by Semin. The key thing is to get lots of shots. Our keys to the game tonight for the Stars, live ammo. They need their guns a-blazing. They need more goals than they've scored the last couple. Windy City wake-up, not a good game. They need to get the lead and get more. For the Caps, a meat grinder. They've got to grind it out in all areas of the ice tonight against Dallas. And Bolt back home. They've got to bring their game that saw 5 different goal scorers against Tampa Bay to kickstart this 4-game homestand.
24-year-old Mike Smith making sure that the Caps do not get on the board first as Alexander Semin is poised on this draw. Beach wins another one. It's flexed wide of the goal. Lettinen hammered along the dasher by Semin. John Morrison trying to keep it in. Modano forging it back to center, and as the Caps punched it across, it's an offside.
And there's a look at Mike Modano. I talked at the top of the show recently, 1,200-plus games, 1,200-plus points. This is a guy that's synonymous with this Dallas franchise. He is their leader and go-to guy. He for sure will be in the Hall of Fame in the future. Dave Tippett, the head coach, was a former Cap, played over 700 games in the National Hockey League.
Just 1 minute into our first period with a couple of whistles. Eric Lindros at familiar 88, now working in Dallas.
And before the game, I had a chance to chat with him a little bit. Looks like he's lost a lot of weight. He looks so chiseled now, and because of that, I think he's quicker on the ice.
Comes into tonight's action on top of the assists total for the Stars. Working here with Stu Barnes, who's playing NHL game number 1,000 tonight. Congratulations to Stu. Sotheby and Clymer out there along with Donald Brashear. Matt Bradley is not in the game this evening. We send out our condolences to the Bradley family. Matt's grandfather passed away yesterday, and he is north of the border for the funeral. Jamie Heward back in the lineup. Leaves it on the wing. It's brushed in there by Clymer, and Smith will tee it up for Sergei Zubov. Zubov on the outlet. Mike Ribeiro, late of the Montreal Canadiens, working with Antti Miettinen. Miettinen lassoed there by Erskine. Ribeiro one-hands it. Miettinen keeps it on the outside. The big drive coming. Kolzig juggled it off of Boucher's blade. And Philippe Boucher can really shoot it.
Yeah, he's one of the guys back there along with Zubov that brings a lot of offense to this team. And man, are they ever in dire need from offense. This is a team that struggles scoring goals. They're always about Big D. But right now they have to find their way in the goal-scoring department.
Zubov sends it towards the cage, and Kolzig again had to shuttle over into position. Back comes Ovechkin. Full blast down the wing. Zubov stays right with him. Joining him there in support was Chris Clark. The backhander stopped. The follow-up chance for Gordon. Didn't get through the pack as Jeff Halpern rolls on back through center.
And I'm saying to a team that needs more offense, Joe, they're 16-8 on the season. Well, so if they get the offense, just to think how much better they're going to be.
They were off to a wonderful start. Jumped out of the gate 8-1, 11-2, and since then in the last 15, hovering right around 500. Matthias Charnquist is in the lineup tonight for Dallas. Matthew Barnaby, the NHL penalty minute leader, has been put on the sidelines.
Charnquist's brother plays in the NHL, correct?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Brother Daniel, that is. Modry, the former Thrasher, plays it for Matthias Charnquist, and he'll put it back on the Washington side. 3.5 done in the first. It's no score.
They used to call him Slowdry, some of the fans. But I think he fits in nicely here. Proves everybody wrong year after year. Modry, so solid defensively, he's playing on any team.
Modano's quick trigger. It floated wide. Mike Modano, it's odd to see that A on his sweater. Having been relieved of his captaincy, Brendan Morrow is the new captain, and he's injured tonight. Has been missing the past couple of games with a groin muscle injury.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that they said they needed a little change in that department. They elected Morrow. They then gave him a long-term deal, over $24 million for 6 seasons. They like his style. They like his leadership, and that's why the change was made.
The Caps have to be happy there is no Morrow, because he has always put up points against them. So too this man. Modano into the corner. Mike Modano roughhousing along the wall. It's soccered out of there by Pettinger. Modano keeps it, protecting it in the offensive zone for Dallas. Locker mentioned their mark of 16-8. Lets it in with a backhand chance. He whiffed on it. He fanned at the top of the crease. The Caps coming in at 9-9-6 off their win against Tampa Bay.
It's amazing to me that Lettinen's such a great defensive player, that he gets those type of opportunities just because of the fact he is so darn smart. He can win the Selke year after year, but he still scores some important goals and is right up there. I like his two-way visibility that he brings to this team.
3-on-1. Sotheby for Eminger, and too much. Past the 5-minute mark and scoreless. A quality chance there for Washington that goes awry without a shot on goal. Erskine forced back by Barnes.
I don't think you're going to see that happen too many times in a season against the Dallas Stars, the way they play defense. That was an anomaly, a 3-on-1 from center that the Caps didn't connect on.
Boucher hustling back to it. Clymer right to him like a guided missile. Back come the Stars. In transition, Ribeiro just poked it to center. On the wing, it's Klepish. One more look for Clymer. Off the outside of the goal. A good snapshot from Ben Clymer, who has a couple of tallies this month. Both of them in the same game at Philadelphia early in the month of November. Boucher. He'll try the other flank. Zubov. That'll trickle back to center, and then some as Green races for it. A bit strong for Ovechkin. Robidas is going to win the race, and this is an icing call against Washington. Just past the 6-minute mark, just getting started on Comcast Sportsnet. Thanks to our good friends at Toyota. These are the ones to watch for us tonight.
And we often look at offensive guys. Tonight we're looking on our Toyota's ones to watch defensive stalwarts. And Yuri Lettinen, 3-time Selke Trophy winner as best defensive player in the NHL. And Chris Clark for the Caps. I think he have to have a real solid defensive game, especially without his center not playing tonight in Dina Zubras.
Both of those guys are two-way players. I think when you define the word two-way player, you might see Jere Lehtinen nearby that definition. For the way he promptly puts up goals and is a steadying influence for this team. A Dallas team that is routinely on top when it comes to defense and goals against average. Ovechkin, who scored against the Stars in Dallas a season ago. Dallas prevailed 4-1 in that one. Ovechkin fires, and that's eaten up by Smith. It rolled on Alex a little bit.
Yeah, it rolled up a little bit. It's still a good catching glove save. This Smith kid is a big rig, and he covers a lot of the net. I like the fact that he toiled a little bit in the East Coast League, 4 years in the American Hockey League, to come up and make a stand here. He was penciled in to be the backup for Turco for many years. Doug Armstrong's done a nice job in the building of his team, and the net mining has been solid. Turco signed for long-term. Mike Smith's a very capable youngster that's going to get better with age and experience.
Like so many young goaltenders, as Turco watches from the bench tonight, Smith admired the play of legend Patrick Waugh and has some of the same stature of Waugh in that crease. Lanky. Richard Zednik and Brooks Laich back behind Smith's cage right now. Modry paddles it ahead for Patrick Stefan, the two former Thrashers. That was thrown right into the pack, and Boyd Gordon will level it into the corner. Smith just did play that on the safe side of the goal line.
That was close.
If he has that stick handle 6 inches the other way, it's delay a game. In front, Zednik chopped it over, and it stays on top of the cage with a penalty coming.
Yeah, good work by the Caps. They've come out storming. Good pressure against this Dallas Stars team. They've established an early forecheck, something they did not do against Tampa Bay, even though they got the win. Check out this play. This is no man's land. A goaltender is not allowed to play the puck inside that zone. Wow, did he ever get that away quickly just before it crossed that goal line. And in front of the net, a hack from behind. Halpern from behind will take the minor penalty. The puck ends up on top of the net. The Caps go to the power play.
And it's a Dallas team on the road, Locker, that is better than 90% effective at nullifying shorthanded situations. Alexander Semin wanders into the offensive zone, finding his buddy Ovechkin. Matched up there with Sador, and this one leaves the rink.
Good pressure by Sador, making sure he took away time and space from Alex Ovechkin. A November to remember for Alex. Daryl Sador returns for his second stint here in Dallas. Spent some time, if you remember, back in Tampa Bay. And now it was picked up in the offseason.
Won a Stanley Cup in both spots.
Yeah, not too bad, huh?
That'll work.
99 Cup in Dallas, the 04 Cup in Tampa Bay.
7.5 minutes gone. Washington out shooting Dallas 5-3. Nothing on the big board. Washington playing a man to the good. 5-on-4 for another 80 seconds as you see the special teams numbers in the first couple of months. Sador switching his field. Ovechkin back behind. Bumped immediately by John Clem, the veteran rear guard. He's in the lineup as Trevor Daley is missing for Dallas, bothered by a concussion. Sador steps out on Pothier. Pothier shakes it into the corner for Pettinger. Then takes the return. Walks in and fires. Deflected down in front. Rebound chance was chiseled high. Along the dasher, Ovechkin with good patience. Finding Pothier. Back for Ovechkin. He broke his stick. Clem trickles it around. Jere Lehtinen will scoop it on out.
Now, real good puck possession by the Washington Capitals. They've got to do it against a very high-pressure Dallas Stars team. This is not a team that sits back, Joe. They attack, and they go for it. So you've got to be very, very solid along the boards when you get into your power play situations.
Former Caps captain Jeff Halpern is in the penalty box for another 20 seconds. Potomac, Maryland native, playing in front of many friends and family tonight. Zednik
keeping it on the outside for Beach. Beach slows the tempo. Green wigwags away from Hagman. Down to 4 seconds in the power play. Green from long range, and that's knocked aside by Smith. The power play goes awry. A couple of shots during the manpower advantage for Washington. Hagman swivels his way free. He'll dump it in. Dave Tippett wants the line change. It didn't get deep. Chris Clark's pass was not a good one. Halpern glides back to the front. Deflected right on through. Wide of Ole Kolzig. Patrick Stefan nearly gave Dallas the lead.
Well, he's had the 2 best chances for Dallas.
Here he comes again with Robida. Slinging it to Modry. Through traffic, Kolzig got a piece of that. Save number 4. This after a 48-save gem in Tampa. Halpern turns one right to the front. Chris Clark is in good position. The Caps get it out thanks to Sotheby. Sotheby mangled up there by Modry. Robida keeps it on the flank. On through Charnquist and back. Craig, from the Dallas situation, playing last night, getting in here very, very late. When would you start to see the effects of them being tired, sluggish?
When they get on the plane, because I'm sure they've had a few choice words from Dave Tippett. They're not happy about losing, period, especially against Chicago. They've lost 2 straight by 1-goal games. They gave points away against Detroit and last night in Chicago. This is a very unhappy bunch. The Caps knew that when they came into this game tonight.
And it's a Dallas team that is normally brutally efficient when they have the lead. To see them blow a 1-goal lead twice in a week in the 3rd period is highly unusual.
Yeah, you make a real good point. Prior to those 2 games, they were 11-0 when carrying that lead into the 3rd period.
Hagman into the corner. Ribeiro is there. Stapled to the boards by Beach. Semin didn't get it out. Boucher kept it along the dasher. Back comes Beach in transition. Washington in the black jerseys. More than halfway home in the first. This is offside against the Caps. No score in this one, and it's difficult to score when the hockey stick won't cooperate. Snap, crackle, pop for Ovechkin.
In this one, interesting night for Ole Kolzig. Not only does he have to face his former roommate, Jeff Halpern, he's got to face one of his best friends in hockey, Stu Barnes. Both of them grew up playing junior hockey together with the Tri-City Americans out west. In fact, they are now the owners of that junior franchise in the Western Hockey League. And to start the game, Dave Tippett put Halpern and Barnes out on the same line. A little double duty for Ole Kolzig, who'd love nothing better than to pay his friends back by shutting them out. Up to you guys.
He's such a meanie, Al. Such a meanie. Mr. Kolzig and the Caps are outshot 50-20. 2 nights ago, came away with a victory. Erskine steps in, slugs it wide. Another emotional night for John when you consider he's playing against a bunch of old friends.
Yeah, he played over 100 games with Big D.
Last tour of duty in the NHL before Washington was with the New York Islanders. Back out at center, it's Lindros working with Barnes and the rookie Erickson, a 30-plus goal getter in the American Hockey League in Iowa last year for the Stars property.
That's one thing they wanted to do, similar to the Caps with the Hershey Bears. They wanted a real good feeder system, and they found that in Iowa. Both these teams very tight and close-knit. They recently, I think, had dinner together when they met on the road.
Well, they were in Chicago together recently.
There you go.
The Iowa Stars against the Chicago Wolves. While Dallas was there was a chance to dine. Madonna forced back. Modry is hammered by Ovechkin. And Robida will work back through center. Madonna on the fly, 3-on-2, fast developing. Left it in, fires, and it's blocked away. Kolzig jabbed it aside.
First good meal for the American Hockey League boys in a long while. They're not used to, I don't think, the type of meals these guys have at the NHL level.
And I hope the boys making the Apple money paid.
I would hope so, and I would think so.
Sidor waltzing his way back. Halpern deflects it. Kolzig will play. Uh-oh, signals crossed there. Heward got there ahead of Charnquist. There's a turnover. Halpern guns it right on and shrugged away again by Kolzig. For him, save number 6. Brooks Light getting to the inside on Clem. Great pass, score! Richard Zednik from Brooks Light.
Well, that's the Richard Zednik the Caps thought they were getting when he returned here to Washington. It's that quick release, it's the quickness to the holes, and it's getting that puck to the net. I actually walked in with him tonight, and we just, I looked at him, man, did he ever have some great opportunities against Tampa Bay the other night? A couple of breakaways, but this one, no mistake. Right in the pinwheel as Brooks lays it over. A penalty was going to be called. Brooks stayed with it, and what a dandy of a pass. But Zednik made sure of the finish. It was all the release to beat Smith.
Mark it down at 13:05 for Richard Zednik's 4th of the season, giving Washington the advantage over the visiting Dallas Stars. Alexander Semin looking for more. Matched up there in the corner by Boucher. A centering pass to the front that was blocked. Philippe Boucher teaming up with Sergei Zubov. Mike Ribeiro finagling it into the offensive zone. Miettinen was warded away by Heward. Zubov turns it back behind the cage. Green and Heward working as a defense tandem for Glenn Hanlon. Washington staked to the lead by Richard Zednik. Jussi Jokinen with Antti Miettinen and Mike Ribeiro now for Dallas. Semin marching back through. Alexander Semin cradles it right on by the defender. There's another penalty call coming, and it's against the Stars. We'll step away. Washington getting the jump on Dallas. Richard Zednik doing the honors, and Brooks Lake's all pumped up about it.
Richard Zednik, the marksman on Comcast Sportsnet. The Caps won better than Dallas, and it's all about fighting through the wash. What a play by Brooks Lake. Look at him meander up ice, one hand on the stick. A penalty was going to be called, and there's the marksman to finish it off. He's got to go over there and hug Brooks Lake. What a play. Lake to Zednik, giving the Caps a 1-0 lead.
One whale of a play by Brooks Lake for his first point of the season. Antti Miettinen boxed in there for hooking. So Washington has a chance to make that lead a little bit bolder late here in the first period.
And that was all because of speed on the attack. That was all Semin that drew that penalty to Miettinen.
Richard Zednik dealing with Jeff Halpern. Off to the corner, it'll trickle. Beach captures. Chris Beach, one of the goal-getters in Tampa 2 nights ago, sends one rink wide. Clymer's wrister on the way, didn't get through Boucher. Jeff Halpern chided a bit by the fans as he took a tumble there. Jere Lehtinen with Zubov, keeping a close eye on Beach and forcing Washington back to center. Just over 5 minutes separating us from a Pokey Holmes intermission report on Comcast Sportsnet. Clymer ladles it into the corner. Boucher is there to pin him. Chris Clark, shoulder to shoulder with Zubov. You see 5 in the scrum. Bouncing right to the front of Smith. Clark scores! Chris Clark!
Oh, the Caps are jumping on a little bit of a road-weary team, but it's all about winning the battles. Here are the Caps on the power play. The importance of winning 2-on-2 down low. Watch Clark Zubov work. Notice coming in there is Kleppish. The puck bounces free. Kleppish kicks it. Then it goes right to Clarkie on a spinorama. Chris Clark goals in back-to-back games. This one on the PP. Kleppish will get the primary assist. 2-0 Caps.
You know, Locker, we don't deal with odds makers very much, but obviously Dallas would be a favorite, even on the road. But when you look at the schedule, Dallas had to play last night, and you think about Buffalo coming in on Saturday. They'll play again Friday night. These are the kinds of games where the Caps have to take advantage of some teams that may be a bit sluggish early. They've done it at the start tonight.
Absolutely, and it's the start, Joe. You're exactly right. They established the forecheck early, got the Stars on their heels right off the get-go, because it's the Stars team that has dominated the Caps over the last 12, 15, 19 meetings.
Washington, in fact, has won just twice in the last 10 times Dallas has come to D.C. or Maryland. Around the wall, but not out. There's Lindros. Erickson lost it. Pothier claims it. And away come the Caps, just over 4 minutes to go in the first. Zednik skips past Sador. Zednik drive. That didn't get to Smith.
and then the cage is knocked from its moorings. The faceoff will come outside.
Well, you rarely see that. A guy cleanly beaten Daryl Sador. He's a pretty handy defenseman, but Richard Zednik used a change of speed. Sador just flat out missed Zednik, which created the 2-on-1. Zed's got one of the goals, and he's been terrific. The Dallas Stars, as we were mentioning, have dominated the Caps in recent memory, including the last 15. Look at their numbers, 12-1-2, including winning the last 5 straight meetings.
They sit third in the Pacific. Even with a mark of 16-8, they are 10 points behind Anaheim, which the Caps will also see during this impressive 4-game homestand.
You know, most of the teams have a better than 70% win percentage heading in here to Washington.
On the fly, it's Ribeiro. Ribeiro, the wide glide wrister, kicked out of there by Colsey. Chris Clark tried to chip it on back for Erskine. He'll switch sides. Forced away by Miettinen. Miettinen, during his rookie season last year, was among the top 4 in terms of hits. He was all around Ovechkin's name in that category. Miettinen zips this one wide. Ribeiro with poise, looking to the front for the shootout maestro. That's Jussi Jokinen, 36 in the white. Jokinen fires from long range, and that's routine for Colsey. Jussi Jokinen checks out, and we remind you it's time for the Caps Comcast Sportsnet All-Star Challenge. The All-Star alum tonight, Rod Langway. Log on to WashingtonCaps.com. Enter Langway's name for your chance to win 2 lower-level tickets to a coming Caps game here at Verizon Center, and a possible chance to meet Ole and Alex.
Blast off with the rocket, right? Secretary of Defense, as Alex looks on, and Ole Kolzig continuing on where he left off against Tampa Bay.
Rod Langway, a Hall of Famer on the blue line, who would just love to be positioned on that Dallas back line, which has been so good for so long.
Yeah, they really have, and they've had some turnover. Remember, Joe, they lost 3 guys this season. Skula, Niinema in the Ribeiro trade, and Erskine, who's now playing for the Caps, who was their 7th D at the time.
As Zubov will hustle back to it, make the touch-up for an icing call. It is 2-0 Washington. If you are just tuning in, Richard Zednik and Chris Clark are on the board against Dave Tippett's squad.
And Dave Tippett, 4th season as the Stars coach. You look at those nice numbers there, 156 wins for Dave Tippett. Has always been a checker throughout his career, has some international experience, been very solid in Dallas, speaks his mind. Everything's black and white when it comes to coaching for Dave Tippett.
In the white tonight, the Dallas Stars traveling. After this one, they'll head home to begin their own 4-game homestand. A one-time redirect that's deflected away. Madonna, Lettinen, and Eriksson out there now for Dallas. Mike Green introducing himself to Eriksson as Heward claims. On for Sotheby. Clymer floats it back behind Mike Smith's net, giving Marty Turco the night off. Smith has won his last 3 decisions and has done it with a microscopic goals against average.
And because of his numbers, he was 3rd star last week in the National Hockey League's 3-star ballot.
St. Louis 1, Solane 2, Mike Smith 3. Semin from the sharp angle. That's flagged down by the big netminder, and there's no rebound.
He'd make a good GM also.
Mike Smith.
A long-time Chicago Winnipeg general manager. These guys are stingy. You look at NHL leaders, goals against. Well, there he is, that guy, in just his 7th game this year, 1.53. Had a Backstrom, Uwe, Toskala, and the Dominator.
I like the extra emphasis on Uwe there.
Ah, you know I like to sing that song.
Caps have yet to face Cristobal Uwe and the Montreal Canadiens, but that'll change. They've got 4 get-togethers with them before the regular campaign is done. It's 1 and done with the Dallas Stars tonight, and 2-0 for Washington late in the first. Chris Beach gets a step on Clem. Sador comes over to help. Daryl Sador didn't get it out. Eminger fires. That hit a leg in front. Beach mangled against the boards. To the slot there. Ooh, Semin was all alone. Hettinger found him.
That was a real nice play. Notice all the Dallas Stars looking behind the net, and instead of looking around and behind them, that play was wide open. Poor coverage in front of Smith in the slot.
Boyd Gordon puts this one right to the belly of Smith, and
He'll take no chances late in this first period.
And Boyd Gordon on the board last game. A beautiful short-handed goal against Tampa Bay. Alexander Semin, good chance. Watch this little setup play. Look at the two stars looking right at Pettinger behind the nets. Pretty good recovery from the third guy coming back there, Joe, just to get a piece of Semin's stick to prevent that slot shot.
For the longest time when Ken Hitchcock was a coach in Dallas, the term was backside pressure. I know that's more in the neutral zone, but they collapse around and help their goaltenders and D as much as anyone in the defensive zone.
Yeah, guys like Robida, not very big, but hanging around the way he plays. Ribeiro, Miettinen, all defensive guys. The one thing they're missing, though, they need more firepower, Joe. I think if they're going to make a run for it, there may be some moves being made closer to the deadline by Doug Armstrong to solidify the offense.
Saw Sergei Zubov there for a second. He and Nick Lidstrom were 1-2 in the NHL defensive point scoring last year. It hasn't been a Sergei Zubov-like first 2 months for number 56 in white.
It seems like they've got a good thing going, though, when Zubov and Daly play together. That's some good O from the back line. When Daly comes back from the concussion, look for that pair to add some O.
Last minute of the first period, Washington out shooting Dallas 9-8 and leading them 2-0 where it matters most.
And Jamie Heward back into the lineup tonight. Brian Muir, the healthy scratch for this Washington Capitals team. Jamie Heward, great experience. You look at his numbers. They're sort of going in and out of the lineup. Both Heward and Muir rotated by Coach Glenn Hanlon.
Glenn Hanlon prefers not to let one of them or both of them get stale by any stretch, sitting out too long a period of time. So those two veterans, those two graybeards, will be in and out from time to time.
I wish he coached me when I played.
Well, Locker, you'll sit there and you'll sit there for 20 games.
There was none of that when I played.
What do you mean, Locker? Your feet are getting cold?
Yes. Used to undo my skates on the bench.
Attaboy. You're done.
I knew when I was done, I would sit and undo my skates. It was great. If they called my name, I had to tie up my skates quickly.
10 seconds left in the first. Jere Lehtinen driving back with Robida. Robida to the front. That's deflected down and right past Eriksson with 3 seconds to go. Modry bombs away well wide. And not enough time for Robida there late. So the Washington Capitals fans assembled here at Verizon Center this Thursday night, putting their hands together for Richard Zednik and Chris Clark. The Caps 2 better than the visiting Stars after 20 minutes of play. Coming up soon, our Pulte Homes intermission report. We'll be checking in at the sports desk. Plenty of goings-on around the world of sports tonight. Chris Clark will be visiting with Al Koken. Locker and I have some stats and highlights, too. We'll sort through those in just a matter of minutes. 2-0 for Washington. An impressive start on Comcast Sportsnet as we send it to David Lee. On Comcast Sportsnet, the Washington Capitals entertaining the Dallas Stars, and 2-0 for the Caps after 20 minutes of play. Elsewhere around the NHL, some news and notes to ponder. Starting first in Philadelphia.
Now they needed to lock him up. Mike Knuble, 2 years, $5.6 million. Great experience, great size, great leadership. And Mike Vernon, he'll have his number retired, number 30 by the Flames, February 6th. And Johnny Leclerc looking for another opportunity to work. He was placed on waivers when he had 7 points in 10 games for the Penguins.
Washington has the advantage by 2 this Thursday night. If you joined us a little late, there's your scoring summary. And as far as news and notes are concerned, we should have put this up. Some Comcast Sportsnet news and notes. Liam Charles Hoagland has come to the world. Congratulations to John and Gina, their second baby boy. 9 pounds born today.
Here, here. Big baby, huh?
That's a big baby.
Wow. Congratulations.
Time to get some sleep, because you won't be enjoying much after too long. And some of the kids a little more grown up. Claws in hand, ready for period number 2.
I like that glove. I like the claws edition. That's awesome.
I'm sure you like that lid, too.
The hairdo. I'd wear one of those.
I've seen
You know I would.
I've seen it. Go back to Halloween, I've definitely seen it.
Ice problems here. The referee's watching. The squeegee. How would you use that on a car? Well, they're using it on the ice here. Getting rid of some of the excess water behind Smith's net in Dallas' zone.
Mike Smith tangling with Ole Kolzig tonight in the net-minding matchup. The Dallas Stars coming to town and on their roster, number 88.
And one of the biggest deals ever in the history of the National Hockey League, Eric Lindros, was a big deal when he was required by the Philadelphia Flyers from the Nordiques. How about that lineup? Forsberg, Simon, Hoffman, Duchesne, Ricci, Hextall, picks, some cash, $15 million for that deal.
That's a boatload of cash.
Wow.
As we are underway in period 2. Brooks Light thumped there by Philippe Boucher. Richard Zednik turns the corner, marked by Jeff Halpern.
I'm sort of surprised that Lindros did not re-sign in Toronto. They wanted to wait before they offered him a contract because he was banged up last year.
Charnquist lets it go right to the catching glove of Kolzig, and he's got that covered. 28 seconds into period 2.
Charnquist inserted into the lineup. Good opportunity early on. Notice the shots, though, the Stars are getting. That's one thing that Hanlon told us prior to the game, and Ole Kolzig knows, that the shots have been kept to the outside. That really is just at the perimeter of the so-called home plate, which extends to the dots across the top of the circles and to the post, Joe. That was a routine stop because Ole Kolzig was out and up. No room for Charnquist to try to put that baby home.
Ribeiro now 3-on-1. Ribeiro, deep slot. Jokinen, bullseye. UC Jokinen.
Now 3-on-1, you know you're in deep trouble. The Caps had one in the first period. Here Dallas has their first odd man break early on, just 41 seconds into the second, and just like that, Jokinen pounds it home. Here's the rink wide pass off the wall. A lucky bounce goes the way. Look at the left side. 2 Stars coming. The open up goes right to Jokinen, and he just gets a snapshot. Notice Green fading away, covering the other Star coming into the zone. And that baby ramped up right off Ole. Jokinen gets the Stars back into the game, his 5th of the season.
3 of his first 4 had been power play strikes. This one's provided it even strength and gets the middle stands off on a much better note for visiting Dallas in the white sweaters.
Unlucky for the Caps. Just a lucky bounce. That clear wasn't supposed to go anywhere near that, and the Caps were caught in the neutral zone.
Jokinen, the 23-year-old Finn, getting Dallas on the board in the first 41 seconds of period 2.
He had a nice year last year. He expects to score. He had 17 goals and 55 points for this Stars team last season.
And was devastating in the shootout. Madonna with a backhander. And Kolzig launches himself out to cover it up. Obviously, Dallas has come out of that dressing room tunnel on a mission.
Oh, they certainly have. They've all of a sudden got their legs, and it's amazing what one goal and how it can change how a player feels. There's the backhand, good opportunity. Just prior to this, the Dallas Stars got themselves on the board on a 3-on-1. There's that little shot, the snapper from Jokinen, as Green had to shadow the third guy. It was a 3-on-2 entering the zone on that play.
Madonna then wins the draw, Craig, in the offensive territory for Dallas. Pathia relieving the pressure with the help of Ben Clymer. Clymer and Sotheby and Brashear together tonight. Matt Bradley missing this evening's game, tending to personal matters north of the border, a death in the family. Donald Brashear back in the lineup after a 3-game suspension. Clymer rolling in and right to the gut of Mike Smith. 2-1 Washington, and Canon Business Solutions is a Canon USA company. They provide best-in-class document management solutions for all your office technology needs. It's Canon Business Solutions. Glenn Hanlon back behind that Washington bench. Always reflective of the Dallas system and the way that they are limiting the opponent's scoring chances. For the Caps to get on top early, had to bring a smile to Glenn's face.
You know, they've always been methodical in their approach to games, and they really stick to their system. That's one thing why they usually get a lot of one-goal games throughout the season. This is what the Dallas Stars pride themselves in being, this tough, staunch defensive team.
14 of them so far, 1-goal decisions.
Wow.
They've won 9. And remember, they've only gone to overtime twice. So a lot of those 1-goal games are legitimate. Zubov rink wide for Boucher. Boucher, who had a hat trick of power play goals against LA last week, has this one deflected off the rink.
And it's amazing that he's had such a good season because he's had some family issues. And our well wishes go out to the Boucher clan. I mean, his father's seriously ill with pancreatic cancer. His mother just had open heart surgery November 16th. He's been flying back and forth with his son to see the parents, to go back to Quebec. So he's had a real tough go of it. And our well wishes go out to the Boucher clan because of that, because he's turned himself into a heck of a defenseman and very well respected around the National Hockey League.
He's worked with Dave Tippett in Los Angeles and in Dallas. Mike Green able to escape Jeff Halpern. The Caps captain played through this organization parts of 6 seasons. Stefan racing in there, and that was turned away by Kolzig off the angle. Just now 3 minutes deep into period 2. Dallas has one on the board thanks to Jussi Jokinen. Boucher giving ground. Zubov, one of the more patient defenders in the league, on for Stefan. Rolls it to the far corner. There's Ribeiro. Measured by Halpern. Alexander Ovechkin has been quiet so far tonight. Jacob Klepish and Chris Clark working together as a trio with Alex. Dinas Zubris not ready for play tonight as he took ill on the way home from Tampa recently under the weather. This is an icing call against Dallas.
It's amazing how rubber legs in the first for Dallas turn into strong legs against Kolzig to start this period. A gem in Tampa Bay. 48 stops for Ole Kolzig, his most ever in a win. Pretty impressive. And you look at the workload that he has when he has 40-plus saves in a season, in a game this season. He's 4-0-1. His career high is 52. He had against the Wings in a 2-2 draw.
He's got himself 7 victories this year, Craig. He averages 39 saves in those wins. So they make him earn his money. Shots on goal from the outset have been lopsided for Dallas, at least here in the second period. Almost 4 minutes through. Jokinen's pass intended for Miettinen. Miettinen, a former Finnish League MVP. Ribeiro, who came to Dallas, as Locker mentioned, in that deal involving defender Jani Niinema. Boyd Gordon, former Caps first-round pick, marching through center.
I guess Jani Niinema couldn't find his way to the locker room. Remember the last time into Dallas, he asked me, we were actually there the first day that he came to Dallas to play in that game. And he said, hey, where's the locker room? We had to show him down to the Dallas Stars room at their big facility.
I thought you were a very good tour guide that day. 2-1 for Washington, despite the efforts of Patrick Stefan in that Dallas lineup.
Yeah, he's been a healthy scratch 9 times this season by Dave Tippett, but he's back into the lineup. Certainly throughout his career, he's put up some average numbers, considering he was a guy that Atlanta wanted to be a go-to guy points-wise. In Dallas, he plays a different role. More of a checker, more of a defensive, responsible guy, working a lot with Jeff Halpern, and it's paid off. He put up some points, and he's not really hurt them and been a liability.
He had some injury concerns, too, at the outset of the season. One of 3 different #1 overall draft picks in the Dallas lineup, Lindros, Modano, and Stefan. Pothier puts it back behind the cage. Morrison is there, fenced in by Louis Eriksson. Jere Lehtinen on the dasher. Semin was right there with him. 5 minutes gone by, second period. 2-1 for Washington. The Caps goals coming from Richard Zednik and Chris Clark.
He's got to be the only Louis in Sweden.
L-O-U-I.
Yeah, I don't think there's many of them, though.
Sador breaks it off the wall and begins the breakout with John Clem. Clem scoops it back behind the cage. Kolzig keeps it going. Ow, that one bounced up on Erskine. Lindros pushing and shoving from the weak side there was Klepish. The long blast deflected and right into the mitt as Erskine and Lindros push and shove.
And that's 2 big rigs. Lindros tries to set up shop in front of the net. Pretty good redirect in front by Hagman, who was hanging out. But John Erskine and battling Lindros, 2 big guys, 6'4", 6'5" apiece. And Erskine's coming off a tremendous game. As you see this play in front, there's the redirect, the catch and glove save. And look at big Erskine get involved with his old buddies. There he is. Lindros wouldn't have played here last year because he came over from the Leafs. But 2 big rigs battling in front of the net.
Lindros hoping to win a draw there. Erskine plays it away from Stu Barnes. Gordon supporting for Ovechkin, and now on to Clark. Clark hammered against the dasher by John Clem. Lindros will take. Ovechkin keeping an eye on him. Barnes plays the wing for Hagman. Hagman fires that off of Eminger. Alex Ovechkin riding a 5-game point streak, a 3-game goal-scoring streak for number 8. Back here at home as the Caps open up a 4-game homestand with the visiting Dallas Stars of the Pacific Division. Ovechkin 2-on-2 with Clark. Ovechkin fires, knocked away by Smith. Follow-up chance for Kleppish. Deke looking to stop. He couldn't wrap it around. Green launches it on the way, wide of the cage. Smith just now getting his goalie stick back. As we have a whistle, the puck was played with a high stick. Dallas has carved into Washington's advantage. The man on the board, you can spell it with me. Jussi Jokinen.
Halpern watching his old mates lead his new mates 2-1. Jeff Halpern, of course, with some great moments in a Washington Capital uniform. Played for the Little Caps, got to the Washington Capitals out of Princeton, and that was his first NHL goal back in 1999. But he scored some big goals, maybe none bigger than this. An overtime winner, Game 4 against the Pittsburgh Penguins in the playoffs of 2001. Jeff Halpern always talked about guys like Dale Hunter, how Dale Hunter taught him to play your best in the big games. There was an example of how Jeff Halpern would deliver in big games for the Washington Capitals. But of course, now on the visitors' bench, and he's got to watch his team fight from behind. Guys, back up to you.
Al, we appreciate it. Glenn Hanlon said that Halpern would be a good fit in Dallas because of his reliability.
Yeah, it certainly fits the mold of a Dave Tippett coach team. 438 games played for Halpern in D.C. Of his 87 goals, and you add in the playoff game winners, he had 17. So he was a big goal getter for this Caps team.
Miettinen dancing through the defense. Antti Miettinen finding Ribeiro. Ribeiro worked over by Sotheby. Even in full strength 5-on-5, Caps have the lead by 1. Ribeiro knocked down. Power play for Dallas. Ribeiro holds. Spots Boucher. Tap passing. And it's touched up by Washington. The Caps go a man short.
And that's nice work by Ribeiro, rotating over the top of the left circle there and keeping his feet moving as the call's going to come to center ice. Hanlon's team's going to go short. There's the tripping call. Good work down low by Ribeiro. Watch him rotate away from Mike Green. There's a little bit of a pick there, and then there's the trip. And Mike Green heads to the box on a tripping minor power play for Dallas to tie this game up if they can get one.
Touchdown, Stu Barnes playing NHL game number 1,000. It's NHL game number 300 for Mike Ribeiro. Washington wins the draw, and Morrison goes right off the window and back on down. Zubov and Boucher in back. Modano, Lehtinen up front along with Louis Eriksson.
And this has sort of been a sore spot for them. We talk about goal scoring. Got to convert on the power play when you're not scoring 5-on-5. They're 0 for 9 the last 2 games, Joe. And in the month of November, just 10 of 70 on their power play.
Graphic just showed you overall 15% effective. Zubov usually makes it work so well with Modano when it's clicking. Those two know each other by instinct. Modano feeds Lehtinen. Good coverage there by Gordon. Zubov cradles it away from the pressure of Pothier. Manpower advantage, another 70 seconds for the Stars, and White looking to equalize on the road. Eriksson drifting away from Morrison. Back on top it comes for Boucher. One-timer, Zubov well off the mark. Modano hustles it down. Mike Modano, with good health, will be the highest-scoring American-born player ever this year.
Yeah, not too far from Joey Mullen, who's over 500, and he's closing in on him.
Modano back. Boucher rockets one right on. A pad save for Kolzig. They scramble for the rebound. Green serves another 40 seconds in the box. Lehtinen picking up Modano again. Back for Boucher. One-timer right to the midsection of Kolzig. Chris Clark has the rebound, and he'll drive it all the way. Smith on the send-away. Jussi Jokinen drops it. Ribeiro getting fancy, and he ran right into the defense of Richard Zednik. And then a penalty call comes.
Yeah, it's going to be Miettinen. He's going to get an interference call. He puts his arms up in the air, but the referee sees him right away. And talking to him, it's an easy call. He's into the box for the second time in this hockey game. Watch the rotation. Watch up top. There's the little hook. And there's the wipeout. That's a moving pick. Miettinen taking down Pettinger. He can't believe it. Their power play for naught. Caps will have a $140 on theirs when Green comes out of the box.
Matt Pettinger, who picked up a couple of assists in that win a couple days ago for Washington. Antti Miettinen interfered with him. As a result, Dave Tippett's team's 4-on-4 for the next 20 seconds. And then Washington will have a chance to pad its advantage as we move towards the midway mark of regulation time. This is the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet, available in high definition. Joe Beninati and Craig Lachlan upstairs. Al Koken is our ringside reporter. Ovechkin is in. That's got to be a penalty shot against the goalie there. Mike Smith threw his stick. Alex Ovechkin will have the penalty shot.
That is indeed the correct call and the right call. The goaltender was completely beat by Alex Ovechkin. Chris Clark coming over and saying it was a layup, it should be a goal, but it's definitely a penalty shot. Here's the play. The turnover happens on 4-on-4. Here comes Alex. There goes the stick, and out it comes out of his hands. He knew he was burned. Alex Ovechkin, a penalty shot. There's the move. There's the stick. And notice everyone scramble back to prevent Alex from putting it into the empty net. A penalty shot upcoming to give the Caps a 2-goal lead.
Ovechkin regulation penalty shots 0 for 2, including this year a miss in Denver against Peter Budaj of the Colorado Avalanche. Alex Ovechkin against Mike Smith. Washington looking for the 2-goal lead. Ovechkin lost it. No shot. No chance.
Wow, rolled right off his backhand. Didn't control it working in. Notice in the shootouts, he's been stick handling more also and trying to deke. Smith's a big goaltender. He's getting a talk to the referee right now. Watch Ovechkin come in. There's a little stutter and fake. Goes to his backhand. He was trying to go to his backhand, pull to his forehand, and then chip it over the catching glove or put it 5-hole. Nothing went his way there. The Caps number 8 skates away disgusted. Could have given the team a 2-goal lead.
He's just spooked right now on penalty shots.
Exactly. That's a good word for it.
Completely inside of his own head when it comes to the shootout and even in regulation. For a player of that caliber to not get a shot off, that's almost unthinkable. We go 4-on-4 for another 2 seconds. And now Washington goes to the power play. I'm telling you, if you could only put a defenseman chasing Ovechkin, he'd bury them all the time. John Clem on a reverse. Take away Zednik. Finding Clark. Back on top now for Semin. Power play Washington, 80 seconds worth. Leading Dallas by 1 here at home. The pass for Semin deflected away. Barnes is in good position. They shape it back up for Beach. He'll hook off, looking for help. Caps' third power play chance on the night. Clark on the interchange. It bounced over Beach's tape. Sador won't get it out just yet, but Barnes should with the help of Hagman. Nicholas Hagman, whom the Caps know well from his days in Southeast Division in Florida.
Yeah, his dad, too, played in the National Hockey League. Matty Hagman.
If I'm not mistaken, they were the first Finnish-born father and son to score in the NHL.
Yeah, right on.
Semin driving in, looking for some shelter. Ovechkin lost the handle, and that's spun all the way down again by Jiri Lehtinen.
Well, Mike Smith certainly has some good fodder for the summer. Pitched a shutout in his first game against Phoenix in the National Hockey League. And he'll be able to tell all his buddies he stopped Alexander Ovechkin to the Caps on a penalty shot.
He didn't have to work real hard to do it,
I
though.
know, but he can tell everybody he stopped it.
Oh, it looks good in the stats. He's 1 for 1. Pettinger. Bottled up by Modano. Dallas has the only goal here in the second period. Jokinen from Ribeiro and Modry in the first 41 seconds of period 2. It is 2-1 for Washington. Smith looking for the long lead. Miettinen jumping out of the box and caught there by Mike Green.
That's not Turco wearing a different number. It looks exactly like him. He said Turco has really helped him in puck movement. Told him to always get out of the net and take a peek to see where everyone is before he plays the puck.
If we could see that pass again, he turns the glove over like Turco does. A little unorthodox to help him get some leverage on his shot or his pass.
And the goalie coach, Andy Moog, I don't think he did that when he played.
No. Brashear along the dasher. Paddled to safety there by Heward. And Robidas will get back to fetch. Robidas's first NHL goal was in this building against Ole Kolzig. He was then a member of the Montreal Canadiens. Robidas teamed up with Yaroslav Modry. Modry had nice point totals for the Thrashers against the Caps last year. This is Lindros on through Charnquist. Racing back to defend, it's Eminger. Charnquist, soccer style. He's brought down in the area. Penalty kick.
Where's the flag? Where's the card?
That was a slide tackle.
Only Europeans can do that. If that's a Canadian or an American, I don't think so.
What do you guys try to do? Headbutt it in?
Anything else.
7:48 to go, second period. Boyd Gordon and the Caps, one better than the Stars.
Brodeur and DiPietro, excellent handling the puck on the hard around here. Watch the goalie get out. When we hold it right here, watch, he quickly turns and he's going to look straight up ice. And that's exactly what he does. There's the hand turned over and the fire up the ice, just like Turco trying to hit the late guy all the way down at the far blue line. That shows you confidence from a young goaltender. On the left, Turco, who's a master. On the right, Smith, who gets the start tonight.
Marty Turco said he started with that glove turned over awkwardly like that to help him on the backhand side. He got so comfortable with it, now he's using it on both flanks. Boyd Gordon looking to stuff and came right on through. Morrison puts it back along the back dasher. That was a rough run there. Sador cleaned out Gordon, and back come the Dallas Stars at 16-8. They're in the white sweaters out of the Pacific Division. That rugged Pacific Division with Anaheim and San Jose. And Dallas, the top three teams way out west. Zednik powering past Boucher. Richard Zednik got Washington on the board first in this one tonight. Chris Clark followed it with a power play marker. Dallas has responded here in period two. You see Jokinen on the board. Erskine for the Caps. Lost his balance. Ovechkin recovers well. Eminger gliding in, puts it to the wing for Alex Ovechkin. Fellow Russian Sergei Zubov is with him. Eminger stepping in. Long wrister wide of the goal. 6.5 to play in the second period. Klepish thwarted there by Zubov. Jeff Halpern in a skirmish with Chris Clark, the past two Capitals captains. As Dave Tippett wants to change personnel. Philippe Boucher, right on target for Jokinen. He'll deflect it in. Kolzig with the traffic instructions, plays for Eminger. And now the chess match, Locker.
Wow.
Off the glass and out, off the glass and in. I trap you, you trap me.
Well, that's what it's going to be right now. There's no space whatsoever with the game at 2-1.
Flashing down the wing, it's Pettinger with Chris Beach. Smith just lunges at that one. Halpern with a bad clearing attempt. Beach pounced on it.
Not a whole lot of shots or forechecking by the Caps. Better exits by Dallas in this period. And it all starts and stems from an early goal, 41 seconds in, Joe. The Caps have mustered just 2 shots so far in this period.
And 11 for the game, some 35 minutes into the contest. Robidas skipping into the offensive zone. Ribeiro didn't capture it. Jokinen does, right to the front. That one pinballs to Morrison. He won't get it out on the first attempt, but Beach should on the second. Semin golfing it past Modry. Alexander Semenoff a goal and an assist 2 nights ago in Tampa. Barnes against Pothier. Barnes is in the longest point-scoring drought of his career. No points in the last dozen games. Stu Barnes looking to change that against good friend Ole Kolzig. That pass was thieved. Back comes Semin. Barnes decking Sotheby from behind. Getting a little fancy for Hagman. On the rush, Lindros. Good diving poke check by Erskine.
And that was sort of a little bit lucky. Spun around and spun in the perfect direction to knock the puck off his stick.
I was going to say it looked like he was going the wrong way, but he corrected it nicely. We'll tell you who's guilty of the penalty in a moment. 2-1 Caps.
Capitals still with a 2-1 lead. Donald Brashear back in the lineup tonight, but because Matthew Barnaby has been scratched for Dallas, we've been deprived of a possible dust-up between 2 of the top penalty minute leaders in hockey. In fact, the 1 and 2 active NHL leaders in major penalties are Matthew Barnaby with 195 and Donald Brashear second with 171. They're also 1 and 2 in career aggression penalties. So right now, though, Donald Brashear has got to play a checking role, and John Erskine has got to sit and watch as his team is shorthanded as he was playing with a broken stick and got nabbed. Guys, back for you and the Dallas power play.
Al, much appreciated. You won't see that very often, playing with a broken stick.
Probably snapped it over someone's leg and continued on.
So Dallas has the chance to tie this hockey game up on this power play number 2 for them on the night. Zubov keeping it away from Sotheby on the interchange for Ribeiro. Little give and go. Kolzig makes a good pad save. Jokinen rakes it back to the point. Zubov playing catch with Ribeiro again. Stalked by Sotheby. Along the goal line, Jokinen trying to force feed Lindros, who is right there in the deep slot. Big number 88. Zubov one-timer wide of Kolzig. Jokinen on the retrieval, put it off the goalie's pads. Ribeiro clamps on it. 75 seconds in the power play. Zubov positions for Boucher. Then takes it back. Zubov working it a little bit. Boucher fires. That's eaten up. Ow, that had to bite Boyd Gordon. Drifting along the dasher. Zubov again for Boucher. Rotation to Lindros. Erskine serves another 50 seconds. Zubov marked there by Heward. Little two-man game for Ribeiro. As Heward hatchets him. Ribeiro for Zubov. Zubov being encouraged to shoot it, won't take it. Boucher, keep it hot. Lindros backside and right through the crease. That looked awfully good for Ribeiro.
That was open net, just bounced a little bit. A lot of zone time for this team. Over a minute and a half so far for the Dallas Stars in the Cap zone.
Lindros, one time off the post. A lightning quick release and it hit the iron. Boucher settles. Ribeiro next in line. Boucher winds, doesn't take it. Zubov skipping on the outside, finds the seam again. That aerial went right on by Lindros. As Erskine leaves the penalty box, just a couple of shots on goal for Dallas. They're still down 1. Morrison looking to play it out. And finally he will. Erskine one-on-one against Boucher. Erskine, that wrister was deadened. Tumbles into the corner as Glenn Hanlon changes him up. Louis Eriksson rifling on back with Mike Modano. Not going far. Pothier wouldn't allow it. Pettinger's in alone. Pettinger scores!
Well, the Dallas Stars dog-tired. They were out there for the whole power play. They had close to 2 minutes of zone time. Now the puck comes around. Eriksson can't clear. Boucher still on the ice. Modano takes a swipe. There's the wipeout. And there's the 5-hole slide by Pettinger coming off the bench and rotating with speed. Speed against weary and tired legs. No match for Pettinger. Full steam to the net. And an even better finish for the Caps 18.
So Matt Pettinger with 6 goals now, all 6 in the month of November. Only Ovechkin with more goals this month than number 18.
Yeah, real nice play. There's the wipeout. Look at Boucher trying to get back. There's no way. He's dead tired. And it's just a little slide right along the ice through the 5-hole. Smith opened up. Pettinger made the deposit. 3-1 Caps.
He made that look awfully easy. 26-year-old Matt Pettinger. You see the last 10 games what he's done. As far as those 6 goals this year, 5 of them have come under this roof. Washington is once again 2 better than visiting Dallas. The second period that for the most part has belonged to Dallas from a territorial standpoint. And after failing on the power play, the Caps burned them in transition. A Dallas team that has lost 2 in a row. Rarely do they find themselves in 3-game losing skids. The Washington Capitals snapped out of a 6-game funk a couple nights ago in Tampa. Trying to kickstart this homestand in good fashion as we are late in the second period on Comcast Sportsnet. 3-1 Washington.
That's exactly what Dallas prides himself in, not losing 3 in a row or more. They've done it. in regulation only 8 times, Joe, since the start of 96-97. So they've been pretty good at breaking losing streaks. Could go to 3 tonight the way the Caps are playing.
Only 8 times in 11 seasons.
Yep.
Ovechkin full blast. He was taken down. Caps power play. The Capitals just have more legs right now.
Exactly. Just coming off the ice. Robida doesn't like it. Alex Ovechkin hooked in the belly. Here comes Alex to the middle. And notice Robida caught to the outside. And he has a word to complain there. Watch that again. The way Robida got the stick in the belly there, it's actually a late reaction by Ovechkin that wipes out. And that's why he was chirping onto the way to the bench, Joe. Robida gets the trip, the Caps and Ovechkin on the power play.
Robida, the majority of his penalties are those restraining type fouls, holds and hooks. This time it's called tripping. Washington has a chance to go 3 better than Dallas late in period 2. Jacob Klepish drifting behind the cage. Sador will step out on him. Ovechkin overskates. Alex leads the team with 7 power play goals this year. Washington's 4th manpower advantage of the evening. Green, little head fake. Didn't fool Barnes all that much. Sador rotates over but didn't get it out. Semin keeps it alive. Glove down by Pettinger. Green choosing Semin. Now Ovechkin's turn. Ovechkin working against Clem. Little give and go for Klepish. He shanked his pass. Ovechkin late in the period. The ice is bumpy. 20 seconds left in the stanza. Ovechkin fires it off the defender. Ovechkin right back to the front. Pettinger had his stick tied up. Back to point position. Rip shot score! Alexander Semin!
A rip shot knuckle puck right through the body of Mike Smith. The Caps talk about in-zone pressure. There it is. Look at nobody in front. And that baby, as the goaltender still looks around and wonders where the heck that went. Little bit of a screen in front. Here's a nice isolation of Mike Smith. And that's called a catching glove, letting the goaltender down. Just like in baseball, when an outfielder or an infielder drops a pop fly, Joe. He had a chance to get that. But to me, it's still the knuckle part of the puck that caused that catching glove to be made.
Yeah, that helped create the fan.
Yeah.
Simmons still hit it hard and hit it with some overspin. And the Washington Capitals do get 2 goals late in the second period to improve their advantage to 4-1 through 40 minutes in D.C. And a much appreciative fan base here at Verizon Center. Our Pulte Homes intermission report checking in at the sports desk very soon. John Erskine, the former Star, will saddle up with Al Koken. Highlights and stats coming for you in just a few moments. From the opening draw, the Washington Capitals have had the advantage. They lead the Stars by 3 as we send it to David Lee.
Ladies who don't know my name and you fellas who don't know my game. Yes, I'm called the Prince of Soul, but others call me the Kid Creole, the MC their life. Young ladies right when I'm on the mic, I rock the house right. I'm the dedicated prince on a solid gold. Rock to the rhythm while I'm playing the role. A cool, calm customer, the master plan. It takes a sucker's man to try to jump my hand and the things I do and what I say affect a lot of people in the strangest way. Makes it crack.
Those guys in the truck, they have way too much fun putting those things together. Washington on a night when they've been dancing at the Stars' expense. It's 4-1 for the Caps through 2 periods of play. As far as Alexander Ovechkin is concerned tonight, Locker, not much to write home about.
Well, he's had his opportunities, as he always does. Sharp angle shot, glove save, the puck bouncing, the snap of the stick. His equipment not doing him any favors. The steal of the biscuit, the goalie sliding and throwing his stick means a point to center ice, right side of the screen. There's the referee. Penalty shot, and uh-oh. Is that a Cafu? Yes, it is. Rolls right off his stick, but Alex still a great November. He has 1 more goal and 2 more points than he did last year after 24 games. 10 goals this month. Last season, he had 11 in January and in March.
They've got Dallas tonight. They've got 19-3-2 Buffalo on Saturday.
Well, they're always tough. It starts with, obviously, a guy like Chris Drury, who's one of the key guys. Thomas Vanek, who's scoring a ton. They've got some solid net mining. Lindy Ruff has done a heck of a job with the Buffalo Sabres playing that high-octane offense.
Jeff Halpern out there to start period number 3. Boyd Gordon being excused from the start of a period face-off. You won't see that every night. Washington with 4 different goal scorers on the board and a 3-goal lead to protect down the stretch. The on-ice officials, the referees, are Kevin Pollock and Eric Furlat. Tony Sericolo and Mark Shuchik work the line.
A little different goaltender, it looks like, down in Dallas's cage. A lot smaller netminder. Marty Turco, looks like from up here, has taken over for Mike Smith.
And that he has. As we get some pushing and shoving after the whistle, Mike Smith, baseball cap in tow, now firmly positioned on the bench.
Yeah, and Turco comes in relief, probably getting ready a little bit. He's been working a lot with Andy Moog. He was in town in the last week or so working with Marty Turco. Still impressive numbers, always has the GAA going for him, and he's still one of the best puck handlers in the league. He's a guy that has to lead them to the promised land. He's their go-to guy.
Best combined goals against average in the last 4 years in the NHL, Marty Turco.
And a surprise he didn't start versus the Caps, although he played the other night. He's 3-0 against the Caps lifetime, Joe. 1.34. It's pretty good.
It's the one thing that head coach Dave Tippett was saying earlier in the week when the Stars were in Detroit, that Marty's backups have always been guys who've been resigned to be number 2, except this one. This is Mike Smith, as it's jammed wide by Zednik. Smith wants to be a number 1 and has given Tippett the confidence to put him in there, as he did again tonight. Not with the same success that Mike Smith enjoyed last week. Jussi Jokinen golfs it back to center. Halpern is in pursuit. Teaming up here with Ribeiro. Ribeiro, that familiar hunched-over skating style. Zubov whistles one wide of Kolzig as Halpern was setting the screen against his good friend.
Kolzig didn't see that till it was well past him. Had that been on net, that's a layup on a slap shot.
18-14 Dallas out shooting Washington. The Caps making the most of their 14 shots. Semin turns this one wide of Turco. Green pounces on a rebound, floats it to the front, and there's Stu Barnes. Stu Barnes, NHL game number 1,000. I'm sure he and Ole Kolzig will exchange a firm handshake once this one is through.
But remember, before the game, he sort of nodded when we were down there, and he said, well, warm-up isn't over yet. Might not get my 1,000th game because he saw Modano hurt yesterday in warm-up as he stepped on a puck and didn't come out for the first period until 9 minutes in.
Oopsie. Beach took a tumble there, as Barnes will turn it back. Stars in the traveling whites. They will open a 4-game homestand with Minnesota on Saturday, the same time that Washington will be hosting Buffalo. Sotheby cruising in. Sotheby fires, and Turco will squeeze with the glove. 4-1 for Washington. We remind you that Alex Ovechkin asking for your vote. Cold FX All-Star Fan Balloting, presented by 2K Sports. It gives fans a chance to send Alex and Ole to Dallas for the All-Star Game in January. You need to visit WashingtonCaps.com and cast your vote. A couple nights ago when we were in Tampa, we saw rather lopsided totals favoring a pair of Pittsburgh forwards.
Yeah, Malkin and Crosby 1-2 in the votes.
Must be a lot of internet hours in the Steel City. Pothier, who assisted on the tally from Pettinger, Washington's third, just brushed it back into Turco's neighborhood. He's taken over for Mike Smith. 2.5 gone by in this third period. Washington in front by 3. The Caps have not beaten the Stars at home since March of '99. There's a penalty call coming now against the Caps for interference.
It's going to be Morrison stepping up on Lettinen. Morrison stepped up, interfered with him before the puck got there. So the Dallas Stars will go to an early power play here in the third period, trying to scramble back in this hockey game. But it's a good job by the Modano line, generating some speed early. As you look at Dean Evison, former Dallas Star in his own right. There's his numbers. 2 seasons with the Stars, 93 through 95, 127 games, 59 points. And obviously behind the bench, Dave Tippett, also a former Cap, minding behind the guys in the Dallas Stars bench.
This Stars organization from 1967 to 93, just before Dean's arrival, they were based in Minnesota. They were the North Stars.
Now in the Lone Star State since '93, a Stanley Cup championship in tow back in '99, and a 16-8 mark in town tonight with the Washington 3 better as Dallas goes to power play number 3. And a chance now for Sotheby, 2-on-2 with Pettinger. Sotheby lowers the shoulder, works right in on Turco, bowls the net from its moorings, and we hear the whistle just as we check in with Al Koken.
Guys, you were just talking about different touchstones to the Dallas Stars organization. Remember, goaltender coach for the Capitals, Dave Pryor, was also a goaltender coach in Dallas. He had Marty Turco when Turco was back in college. He had Mike Smith. He also coached Andy Moog, who was the goaltender coach for the Dallas Stars, as well as Dallas broadcaster Darrell Ray. So Dave Pryor has had his hands in a lot of development with goaltenders, and now in both organizations on the ice tonight. Back up to you.
Without a doubt, Al, without a doubt. Robida uncontested back through center. That feed was blocked. The Dallas power play continues for another 70 seconds.
An interesting footnote about the goaltending. The two guys that started in Ole Kolzig and Mike Smith, two goaltenders that have scored a goal in their career. Ole in juniors, Mike Smith in the East Coast Hockey League, his first season he scored a goal.
You know, Craig, it may even get better than that, and I'm not sure. I got to check it, but it may have been his first game and in a shutout that he scored.
I think that's exactly right.
That's not bad. Sador fires one wide. Big ricochet off the boards, and Kolzig finds it in his lap.
Yeah, Madonna was looking for that loose puck, but he didn't find it. Mike Modano always ratchets up numbers throughout his career. Big goal scorer. Here comes the slap shot. Sador looking for the redirect. Modano didn't get it on the first try coming through. Hard low shot. Modano off the post. It ricocheted off the shin pad of the top cap guy, and that threw everything off kilter for Modano to get a piece of it.
Not often you get a chance for a tip in twice.
Yeah.
That's what happened there. And Modano failed both times. 36-year-old Michigan native. Sergei Zubov angling in. Zubov slows the tempo. Looking for UC Jokinen. Jokinen corralled against the dasher board. Eminger came to greet him. Ribeiro peeking out the other side. That's deflected through the crease. Jokinen again. Marked there by Erskine. Erskine leads the NHL in terms of penalty minutes this month, much of which came during that Donnybrook with Atlanta.
Wasn't that 40 penalty minutes in November?
Plus the 2-minute minor for playing with a broken stick tonight. Ribeiro finding Hagman, and he low-bridged Kolzig with that slapper. Some high heat there, much too high. Pothier puts it all the way down. Turco says thanks. Shovels it right to the waiting Alexander Ovechkin. Ovechkin drops it off. Hagman was in tow with Klepish. Back comes Halpern, 2-on-1 with Stefan. The pass from Halpern was well read by Pothier.
Yeah, they really capitalized on a turnover. That was OV kicking it to the middle.
Zednik onside and in. Bulldodged down there by Robida. And it's Robida going to get the gate.
Robida has upended Alex Ovechkin on a breakaway there. He gets his arm around Richard Zednik. Speed to burn for the Caps forwards. They certainly have the legs over the Dallas Stars here tonight. Richard Zednik's had a heck of a hockey game. There's a nice pass. Doesn't get any better than that. A no-look seam pass up ice. Just shows you how great Alex Ovechkin is. That's a wonderful pass to spring Zednik and draw a penalty to Robida. He sits for holding.
Richard Zednik, Chris Clark, Matt Pettinger, and Alexander Semin have struck tonight for Washington. That power play is 2 of 4. The Caps now with power play goals in 8 of the last 9 games. Green thunders one right on. Glove save, Turco.
That was a nifty one right there. What a slap shot by Green, working the top of the umbrella. No one in front of Marty Turco, and that's a nice snare. Falls on his keister after he makes a stop. That's a beauty. Look at that. That is the splits. That's old-time hockey from Marty Turco.
Mike Green staring in, waiting for his next chance. Turco, the winningest college netminder of all at the University of Michigan. With the recent passing of Bo Schembechler, it was Turco commenting about his passion for Wolverine sports.
Well, his numbers there, 127, 28, and 7. That'll do it.
Along the boards, Semin just brushed it back behind. Beach kicking it loose for Green. Beach once again fires. That was deadened in front. Clark and Sador were nose to nose. Putting it back through center. There's a penalty call coming, and it's going against Washington here as Stefan was dumped.
A little bit of a makeup call here as he stepped on the stick coming through the neutral zone, so 4-on-4. And then the Dallas Stars will have abbreviated penalty. Here comes the stick right off that left skate or right skate boot coming up ice. Doesn't like the call, but that's an easy call for the officials. They've been calling it close to the vest. And there's Beach having a seat for the trip. 4-on-4 upcoming.
Chris Beach, who's now in a tie with Jamie Hewitt with respect to plus-minus for the Caps this season. Locker, how much do you value that plus-minus stat?
I think it's something that you really look at as a player and as coaches. It just shows you if you're a liability or not on the ice. Sometimes it's lucky, but most often or not, it tells you the true story of how a player plays both ends of the ice. It's all Caps here in the third period. 4-1. Stick around. More to come on Comcast Sportsnet.
Please accept this friendly reminder. 8 p.m. Saturday on Comcast Sportsnet. High-powered Buffalo comes to town.
And they got a lot of guys that can dance. Their leader is Chris Drury. He's going to have to go against Ole Kolzig. They got a guy, a Finneganoff, and they got Thomas Vanek, who are red hot. Vanek leads them with points and goals at 30. And Daniel Briere already up there. And you take a look at the Caps' next 5 games. It doesn't get any easier after Buffalo, Ottawa, Anaheim, at Philadelphia, and against Sid the Kid in Malkin.
Ole Kolzig with a stick save. Ottawa in action tonight against another Southeast Division dweller, the Florida Panthers. Danny Heatley has a couple of goals in the Senators' quest for victory. Alex Ovechkin did not want to play with a broken stick, thus he bowls it literally back behind Turco.
Second one in tonight's game. He hasn't been busting a lot of sticks so far this season.
Zubov angling back, throws it to the front. Madonna with a lift check. Boucher keeps it going. Richard Zednik is right there in defensive posture, fighting along with Steve Eminger to bring Washington back on this thrust 3-on-3. Zednik drive off of Turco, rebound loose in the slot and skated to safety by the Star defense. Boucher in particular with Zubov. 7 minutes gone by in the third. The Capitals controlling this one by 3. Lindros storming in. Eric Lindros finished off there by Erskine. Boyd Gordon on the hop for the Caps, who are in their black sweaters tonight. Gordon double teamed along the wall. Modry silencing that rush. Darryl Sador scooting his way through center. Threw it into the pack. Ribeiro pivots from Pothier. Pothier makes the strip. Sador keeps it alive. Lindros is there. Beach will be set free from the box in 9 seconds. Lindros stumbling out of the corner. Ribeiro behind the back for Sador. Sador to Modry. One-timer deflected down and wide. Kolzig chops it away from Ribeiro at the doorstep. And Chris Clark didn't get it out. In front here, Kolzig says enough. Let's chill for a moment. 4-1 for the Caps. On our Toyota League leaderboard, we see where Alex Ovechkin stands in terms of the top NHL marksman.
Well, the top marksman is Marian Hossa right from the southeast in the Atlanta Thrashers. He's some ahead of Alex Ovechkin. Shanny has 17. There's OV. How about Thomas Vanek? That was a surprise to me. Leading the Sabres in goals, tied for points with Briere, and Kovalchuk's always up there. 3 others also have 16 goals this season.
Hossa has 2 tonight. Vanek, the Austrian-born winger, tremendous college player at the University of Minnesota. Dipping shot that was handled by Ole Kolzig. Yaroslav Modry, the veteran rear guard, sent it on the way. Modry, who came from Atlanta, to Dave Tippett's side in exchange for center iceman Nico Kapanen.
And he led Atlanta defensemen in assists and points last season. So they let him go for a forward that's more of a checker to play in Atlanta.
Jeff Halpern to the front, looking to team up there with Eriksson. Halpern and Eriksson and Barnes out there now in white for the Stars. Ben Clymer maneuvers back with Mike Green. Sotheby joins him on the rush. Matt Tusum without Matt Bradley tonight. Matt tending to a funeral near the Ottawa area where he is from. Grandfather passed away yesterday. Loose in front. Barnes hooks one towards Kolzig, who kicks that one aside. Modry through the seam for Barnes again. Shrugged away by Kolzig. Clymer and the Caps could use a breather here. Erickson won't allow it. Back behind the cage to Halpern once more. Jeff Halpern, all of his goals, all three of them, have come in the third period this season for the Stars as they have to recoil back through center. Halpern chips it on for Barnes. Swarmed there by Erskine and Brashear. It trickles loose. Clymer will gain the center stripe, so there will be no icing on the dump down. Even in full strength, 5-on-5, just about halfway home in this third period. Washington 4-1 leaders over Dallas. It's the first time the Stars have been in this building in over 4 years. Clark gets
Sador
chased.
behind the play with Brashear.
No,
Brashear
he doesn't
drops
want
his
that.
stick. No, Brashear just skates away.
Not time for that right now. Zubov deking away from Clark. Stefan ahead with Charnquist. Kolzig will melt it. And with more verbal jabs exchanged, John Erskine has been in a feisty mood, and so moments ago were Brashear and Sador.
And it started right behind the net. Brashear gave him a little poke. Here they are coming up ice. Watch Sador come right in his face, a little shot. Brashear drops his stick, then Sador says, oh, I better drop mine. He does, and both guys right to the benches. Nothing really transpired. Smart play by Donald Brashear. You know, Al Koken was talking about him, the way he's played abrasively. Good to have him back in the lineup for this Caps team.
Sador, another veteran of more than 1,000 NHL games. 10 minutes deep in the third, no scoring in this frame. Washington has a 3-goal advantage to protect. Kolzig with a kick-out save. Stave number 22 on the night for him. Lindros looking for Jokinen, deflected aside by Morrison. Chris Clark, who has goals in back-to-back games, talking with Glenn Hanlon as Ovechkin roars in. Ovechkin fires, stick save, Turco. Glenn Hanlon said it was good for the confidence of Chris Clark that he scored with that funny-looking face shield on.
Yeah, had more teeth work today or yesterday prior to this game.
Klepish hacks it around. Semin is tied up with Boucher. 4 in that scrum. Klepish hoping it'll bounce free, and it does. This is Alexander Semin one-on-one. Slap shot, he whistled it wide.
He didn't miss any part of his body from laying into that one. That was absolutely everything he possibly could muster.
Gary Lettinen for Mike Modano. Modano hooking it out there wide, and the back check was put in by Semin. Gary Lettinen just back into the Dallas lineup this week off of a leg injury.
Yeah, and you know, you hear about coaches saying upper body, lower body. When Tippett was asked about Lettinen, I got an interesting fact there. He said part groin, part hamstring, part leg. Okay, so what is that?
Everything's covered.
Yeah.
Semin to the front. Semin just moments ago. Boom, Stefan Robidas down to the deck. 8.5 to go in regulation time. Alex Semin throwing his weight around. Look out, Mr. Robidas.
Capitals still lead this one by the score of 4-1, which means we should have plenty to talk about, Joe Ricci, on Caps Postgame Live.
Well, I wanted to see how Washington would go after a Dallas team that's #1 in the league in goals against. Taking a closer look at Alexander Semin.
And, of course, all of Joe's fans behind him say hello to you guys as well.
Legions of fans, Al, just by the thousands.
Thought they were singing the good old hockey game.
Stomping Tom with 8:25 to go in the third period.
One of my faves, by the way.
I'm sure it's definitely on your iPod.
Oh, yeah, I used to watch them all the time in Toronto on some of the talk shows. Stompin' Tom, an idol, an icon in Canada.
So Al and Joe will be coming with the post-game live once we're through. Joe and Craig upstairs, and of course we appreciate all the efforts, the men and women in our technical crew, our producer Steve Farrell, our director Bill Bell, graphics coordinator Adam Miller, as we move towards the month of December.
Am I on that tonight?
Are you on Caps Postgame Live? You sure are.
Oh, I thought it was just a single with you tonight.
No, I have a feeling you'll be involved, and you'll be doing a postgame news hit, maybe 3 of them. Let's see how many more we can get out of you. We can try to get a lot of mileage out of you these days.
Maybe a little telestration, too.
Oh, some telestration.
Sure.
How about 4 segments of telestration? I love it when it spikes on you, by the way.
Yeah, I know you do.
This is off the rink for a whistle. Caps by 3. Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Caps hockey is being brought to you by Toyota, where you will find the ride of your life. Toyota, moving forward.
On we go to the final 7.5 minutes of regulation time with Dallas trailing by 3 and the Stars, who have gone through some unsettling losses this week. In Detroit to start the week, in Chicago last night, in both instances carrying 1-0 advantages to the third period. Normally they are money in the bank. They let both of those slip away.
How do you do it in Detroit, though? Short-handed goals.
No,
Man, you got to have the game in control. And then, boom, shorties and you're gone.
UC Jokinen sandwiched along the boards. Donald Brashear able to get it out. Shots on goal. Washington has only mustered 20. Dallas with 24.
That's about the season average for teams that played Dallas. They were teams that allowed the fewest shots. Just around 25, 26 has been their average.
But a good sign for Washington, a team that allows a ton to only have given up 2 dozen so far tonight. Lindros taps it along. Ribeiro continues the thrust. Looking for help. Sador was shaded there by Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin has not put a point on the score sheet by my count. So his 5-game point-scoring streak is in jeopardy. He has goals in 3 straight. Klepish racing ahead. Tried to finesse his way through 3 defenders and did. Ovechkin's blast blocked by Ribeiro. Eminger collects. Klepish is next in line. Washington has played tonight without Dinas Zubris. Missing. Ill. To the front from Ovechkin for Clark. There's Ovechkin, stopped by Turco. Ovechkin, gorgeous moves behind the cage. Another sneak attack, and that one didn't get through the pack.
He may be the quickest guy in such a small piece of real estate behind the net. Must drive goaltenders and defenders alike crazy.
You got to get whiplash trying to follow him. The Stars have been playing without Antti Miettinen here in the third period, a lower body injury. He will not return tonight. Erskine plays the wing for Pettinger just off the player's bench. 5.5 to go now in the third period. The Caps with 4 goals in the first 2 frames. 2 in the first, Zednik and Clark. 2 more in the second from Pettinger and Semin. Alexander Semin, one of the 2 power play goals for the Caps, pressured immediately there by Robidas. Semin will wind it up. Eward and Green have been a tandem tonight. Ryan Muir, the healthy scratch on the back line. Modry in a foot race. Jere Lehtinen comes to help. Mike Modano, it's been a quiet night for him. The franchise leader in terms of goals, assists, and points. On for Eriksson, back to Modano and off the outside of the cage. A follow-up bid from Lehtinen shrugged away. Capital down, injured. That's Jamie Eward, who is face down to the ice. Jamie Eward cut severely, apparently. Eward in definite need of repair. We'll be back on Comcast Sportsnet. Those of you with a weak stomach may not want to watch this.
Well, if you're squeamish, definitely don't. Mike Modano ridden into the boards by Green. The follow-up is Heward, and look at the skate come up. And right across Jamie Heward. He fell down in a heap. He got right up, skated to the bench, and is in for repairs. Ouch. The skate blade as sharp as a knife, and that came right across his nose and his cheek. Our Toyota's ones to watch. Jere Lehtinen, 2 shots, -1. On the other side, Chris Clark, goals to goal in back-to-back games. A power play marker on a spinorama, 2 shots and a hit. A difference maker on our Toyota ones to watch.
Sergei Zubov stepping in to the gut of the defense here, drops it back. Boucher peppers it towards the goal and wide. You see that happen to Jamie, and obviously you are shaken up when you see it. You wonder how it doesn't happen more often. Those razor-sharp blades. Now remember, a few years back, a Tampa Bay Lightning player, I want to say the name was Aaron Gavey, who sustained a similar injury, and you hear about the horrific totals of stitches and work, plastic surgery that's necessary. So here's fingers crossed that Jamie Eward is all well and good, although he will definitely will be in need of attention.
Oh yeah, a lot of stitch work there definitely for Jamie. He's a courageous defenseman, veteran guy for this Caps team. You go back, you mentioned Aaron Gavey, one of the worst ever possibly in the NHL happened in Toronto. Boreas Solomon. He had 300 and some stitches when he was hit with the skate boot.
So our thoughts are with Jamie with 4 minutes to go in this third period. 4 on the board for Washington, hoping to outlast the visiting Dallas Stars. The Stars in jeopardy of dropping their 3rd in succession. Washington would have consecutive victories off of a solid showing in Tampa a couple nights back, the former home for Daryl Sador.
Well, the game of hockey is tough, and you get a skate boot like that. I mean, it just brings up bad memories. And I played with a guy also that got cut. Remember Clint Malarchuk, the goalie, got slid in.
Yeah.
You know, they had to have repairs right on the ice. He was close to dying because of that skate coming across his neck, his jugular vein. Yeah.
Oh, oof. That was grisly. Going back a few years. Zubov with a wrister. Kolzig turns that aside. To the front, Barnes. A swing and a miss. Off the heel of his blade for the most part there. As Boucher will give some ground against the forecheck of Ben Klein. The Washington Capitals opening this 4-game homestand. The impressive Buffalo Sabres come to town on Saturday. Boucher to the front. Score from a sharp angle there. And Stu Barnes ends a personal drought in game number 1,000, getting the better of his good buddy.
Man, that's not going to be good fodder for him against Ole Kolzig where they chit-chat. They own a Junior A team together in Canada, so they talk a lot. They talk to their general manager and coach, I'm sure, monthly. But Stu Barnes, top side of the screen, gets a rink-wide pass, and he's going to stand there, wait till Ole goes down, and then just rifle it in. Lindros will get one of the helpers along with the D joining the rush. That's Boucher, and there it is, beating his buddy, is Stu Barnes in his 1,000th game tonight.
The accuracy of these players just amazes me from a severe angle. We're talking about minuscule room to put that in and manage to find the back of the cage and make this a little bit more interesting down the stretch now. Louis Eriksson on a takeaway. Madonna point blank, and Kolzig with a big stop.
A big stop indeed, Joe. That's the biggest save of the game for the Caps netminder, Ole Kolzig. Fenced away Mike Madonna, who's been silent offensively. Good hustle into the corner, the pass out in front. And what a shot. That was a one-timer right away. Louis Eriksson makes a dandy of a pass, and Madonna can't finish.
Madonna, the last 4 times these two teams have tangled, 7 assists. Jari Lehtinen had goals in the last 4 games he played against the Washington Capitals. He's been quiet. Those are the guys you look for down the stretch with just less than 3 minutes to go on regulation. Lehtinen plays it cross rink. Ribeiro's wrister is eaten up by Kolzig. Now with save number 29.
Yeah, some chances coming late for Ribeiro and the boys in white, but Ole Kolzig once again the difference maker, especially early on in this hockey game against the Dallas Stars team that came in tired, but once they were thwarted by Ole Kolzig, you could just see them wilt a little bit early on. Ole certainly set the tone and table for this hockey game.
Brooks Laich, who picked up his first point of the season, setting up Richard Zednik, does so here again. Zednik one-handed, turned away by Marty Turco. Turco did not start tonight. Mike Smith did. Yielded 4 in the first 2 periods. Then gave up the crease to the veteran all-star.
That's why Zubov's one of the best D there. He handled Richard Zednik with speed. The veteran who plays about 30 minutes a game did a real nice job defensively.
Lindros rambling in. The Stars pulling the netminder Turco. Barnes with a backhander. And Kolzig got a pad on that. So the extra attacker is on now for Dallas with 2 minutes to go in the third. Long range. Loose in front. Jokinen! Bang! It's 4-3.
Well, just like that, the big part of this offense now has been Eric Lindros. Gordon and the boys hanging on here. Now it's 4-3. What a shot. But it was all Lindros. Size is a big factor. He laid out a pass that went rink wide. They got a nice little bounce. There's the Caps' inability to clear. Eminger threw it around, went to the point. Shot comes. The rebound, and no chance for Ole to recover. And there's that high shot beating Ole over the catching glove. Jokinen's been a going concern. He just stuffed that one top shelf. That's his second goal. Once over the blocker, once over the catching glove. Fans, don't go away. This turned into a hockey game.
Jokinen has such a good, quick release with that snapshot. That's one of the reasons why he's so tough to beat on penalty shots in those shootout situations. So, Dave Tippett pulled Marty Turco, got himself a goal. He'll almost assuredly do it again once the Stars get into the zone with possession. Madonna dancing in, lost the handle, and Clark skates it out.
90 seconds left. It is a 1-goal lead. 2 markers for Dallas in the stretch of 1:18. Ovechkin keeping it to the outside. Sidor trapped along the wall by Sotheby. Robida chisels it along the dasher again. Modano settling into a rush. Mike Modano carries it. Stars in the middle of a personnel change. Modano puts it on the lip of the boards. Barnes racing to it. Turco's gone. 6 attackers on. 1 minute to go in the third period. Long-range point drive. Stop. Rebound chance, and that was fumbled. Jokinen lost the handle. Boucher paddles it along the dasher. Back behind the goal, there's Ribeiro again. Muscled by Erskine. Eminger around the boards. There's Ovechkin flying to it. What an effort there, or else OV had another breakaway on the empty net. Great play by Boucher. Modano sends it in. 38 seconds left to go in the third period. Eminger off the wall, not out. To the wide side, Zubov walks in to the front. Modano backhander. Pad save. Loose there. Jokinen digging. Down to 25 to go. Zubov straight away. Boucher fires. Kolzig makes the stop.
What a save that was by Ole Kolzig, getting up above the wash, and Boucher can bring it. Excellent pressure by the Dallas Stars, and Ole Kolzig, the guy that can stave off this type of pressure late. The net empty, 6 on 5, and here's a wide open Boucher. I think if you're drawing up a play, that's the play you're going to want as a Dallas Stars coach, and they got it. But it's the Caps' Ole Kolzig, 37, the difference with a lot of guys like Ribeiro cruising around his crease.
This Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Caps hockey has been brought to you by Del Webb, a leader in active adult living with locations now in Ashburn and Fredericksburg. Visit them at delwebb.com. By Geico, where a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. Come on, hurry up. Get inside of Verizon Center here in downtown D.C., where the Washington Capitals have seen a 4-1 lead evaporate. Dallas has made this very interesting for Ole Kolzig in the final 22 seconds.
Quickly get 3 more shots, please, Dallas, so there's at least 40, so we know Ole's going to win.
Boy, oh boy. Eric Lindros has helped this turnaround. Lindros, Modano, Jokinen, Lehtinen, Zubov, and Boucher, 6 on ice in the white sweaters. UC Jokinen's first 2-goal game of the season has made this very entertaining down the stretch. Boucher's not going to get there in time. They have to regroup. Zubov on the send-in. Strange carom bounced right to Erskine. Thank you very much. And Erskine will soar it all the way back. This will be icing on the touch-up. And there's the whistle with 4.8 to go.
And they want more time put on the clock. Tippett yelling at the referee, wants another second or two. He wants it to go upstairs for this. He may have a little chit-chat with the referee, and there's the referee chit-chatting with the timekeeper to make sure there's enough time on the clock, and that 1 extra second did not tick off.
Speaking of time, Barnes scored with 3:21 left. Jokinen tallies again with 2:03 left. And now we are down just below 5 seconds. Lindros is a right-handed shot. Locker, he's got his bottom hand turned over, though. He's going to try to draw it back.
And he's going to try to draw it back to Zubov, who's right behind him. That could also be a move that he's trying to set the table for his face-off here, because you have Lehtinen down on the winger. No one can get to Zubov. The guys in front will simply drive the net, and they're looking for one last shot and rebound.
In this situation a season ago, it would have been Jeff Halpern taking the draw for Washington. He will obviously not be taking it this time for Dallas. Lindros is there. Boyd Gordon gets the assignment. Lindros pulls him over. Zubov holding. Jokinen fires. Pad save. Kolzig at the horn. And the Caps survive. 4-3.
Real nice win to kick off this homestand for the Caps. A nice win. The fans appreciative of their effort down the stretch. You knew a veteran team like Dallas was going to make them work for their 2 points, and they did. Ole Kolzig, certainly one of the heroes, as is our Microsoft Player of the Game, Matt Pettinger, on a 3-game point streak. To me, he got the backbreaker on a breakaway, sliding it underneath Mike Smith.
Just when it looked like Dallas was going to tie the game, instead, it was Pettinger roaring the Caps to the advantage, and then Ole Kolzig does his best to make it stand up. for